Right now, in the massive shipyards and high-tech boardrooms of South Korea, a battle is being fought. And, this isn't just about building bigger ships. No, this is a high-stakes race to define the very future of global trade. So let's dive in and break down exactly what's at stake here. Okay, to really get a grip on the stakes, you've got to start with this number right here. That's right, nearly everything South Korea imports or exports, we're talking 99.7%, travels by sea. This isn't just an industry for them. It's their absolute non-negotiable lifeline to the rest of the world.
And that just shows you how seriously they take this. I mean, forget the Army, Navy, and Air Force for a second. In South Korea, the shipping industry is often called the fourth branch of the military. Yeah, you heard that right. Because for them, controlling the seas for trade, well, that's a fundamental issue of national security.
All right, so we've established just how critical this maritime lifeline is. It's truly the nation's economic backbone. So what happens when that vital lifeline, that backbone, comes under threat? Because right now, the very industry that connects Korea to the world is sailing head-on into what you could only call a perfect storm.
And this isn't just one problem. We're looking at a perfect storm at sea, a triple threat hitting all at once: climate regulations, market chaos, and a really dangerous technology gap.
Okay, so first up, you've got this immense climate pressure. Global regulators are pushing for net zero emissions by 2050, and the EU, well, they're already slapping on strict new carbon taxes. Then, at the exact same time, you've got total market chaos. We're talking wild swings in shipping rates and geopolitical bombshells like the whole Red Sea crisis. And finally, and this might be the most worrying part of all, a technology gap is opening up, and Korea is starting to fall behind its biggest competitors.
And this chart, wow, it really shows that technology gap in stark terms. Look at this. South Korea's conversion rate to eco-friendly ships, just 7.1%. The global average is almost 3 times higher at 19.5%. That is not just falling behind, my friends. That is being left in the competition's wake. Big time.
So you might be asking, why? How did this happen? Well, it comes down to a difference in mindset. While the global giants, like Maersk and MSC, were aggressively reinvesting their pandemic-era profits, buying up new ships, logistics firms, port terminals, the whole 9 yards, Korean companies played it safe. They took a more conservative stance, holding on to cash as a safety net. Now, that's a cautious strategy for sure, but it's one that comes with a huge risk, basically handing the future over to your competitor.
But listen, South Korea is not going down without a fight. The government has just unveiled this incredibly audacious blueprint to leapfrog the competition. It's built on a two-pronged revolution: the green and digital fleet.
So on the green side of things, it's a two-step roadmap. Step 1 is all about transition fuels. Think LNG and methanol, stuff that's better than what they're using now. But that's just a bridge. The ultimate goal, the real prize, is step 2. Powering these massive ships with truly zero-carbon fuels like green ammonia and hydrogen. Now, on the digital front, this is where the plan starts to sound like something straight out of science fiction. Get this, by 2025, the goal is IMO Level 3 autonomy. We're talking about ships being remote-controlled with no crew on board. And that's just the warm-up. By 2030, they're aiming for Level 4, fully autonomous operation. And the ambition here is just massive. What's the goal? To capture 50% of the entire global market for autonomous ships. Insane.
And to tie this all together, they are pioneering a really cool concept called a green shipping corridor. So what is that? Well, imagine a major trade route where literally everything, the ships themselves, the fuel they run on, the ports at both ends, is completely zero carbon. And they're not just dreaming about it. They're actually partnering up with the US and Japan to create one on the supercritical route connecting Busan, Tokyo, and all the way to LA and Long Beach. Okay, so a vision this grand, this futuristic, it's going to require some serious financial muscle, right? Well, that's exactly what the next part of the plan is all about: financing the future fleet. We're talking about mobilizing the capital to turn these dreams into a steel and silicon reality. And when I say mobilizing capital, I mean the government is basically opening the financial floodgates. We're looking at a crisis fund of up to 1 trillion Korean won. They're extending key tax breaks, like the tonnage tax, to keep companies competitive, and they're sending their public finance corporations, like KOC, overseas to help get even more funding. And this is a really big deal. They've also hit the pause button on privatizing HMM, which is their flagship national carrier. Why? Because they're treating it like a strategic national asset to make sure things stay stable during this massive transition. So, If you want to know the total commitment, the big headline number for building this new eco-friendly fleet, here it is. The government has put together a one-stop support package worth 5.5 trillion Korean won. Let me put that in perspective for you. That's about $4 billion US dollars, all dedicated to this one single goal.
Okay, so you've got the tech, you've got the money, but where is this all heading? What's the end game? Well, the government has set some incredibly clear and ambitious targets for 2030. The goal is nothing less than to race into the global top 4 of shipping nations. All right, target number 1. Boost the total national shipping capacity up to a whopping 140 million tons. I mean, think about that. That is a massive jump from where they were in 2021 at just 93 million tons. Target number 2 is all about the money behind the scenes. They want to boost the share of private, domestic investment in ship financing. The goal is to get that number up to a full 30% by 2030. It's all about creating a more self-sustaining investment ecosystem for the long haul.
And now for what might be the most critical target of them all. They want to have 118 large, state-of-the-art, eco-friendly ships in their fleet by 2030. Just to put that in perspective for you, back in 2021, they had just 18. 18. This isn't just an upgrade, this is the very definition of a generational overhaul.
So there you have it. The plan is set, the money is on the table, and the race is officially on. But it all leads to this one ultimate question, doesn't it? Is this audacious blueprint the masterstroke that transforms an entire industry and secures its future for decades to come? Or is it a massive gamble? A bet so big that it could see today's multi-billion-dollar fleets become completely worthless, stranded assets in a green, automated world that might just get here faster than anyone expects.